Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my very first ever Fortnite top 5 for you guys. And in today's video, I wanted to tell you guys my top 5 favorite Fortnite locations on the map. Now, these are the locations that I tend to go to a lot and get a lot of good loot and just have very good experiences with. These areas are not necessarily the most popular because I actually tend to go into some areas that are kind of uncommon, just so that way I don't have a cluster up of people. For example, Tilted. I mean, I have some areas that have a lot of people, that go to it because it's a popular spot, but some of these other areas you just wouldn't expect just because I like to kind of be on the outskirts. I very much like to flank and be stealthy. I don't like to always just cluster in the middle around people. It's not my thing. I only like to do that sometimes. But yeah, I like to have some areas that are kind of stealthy and some that are not. It just depends. But I'm going to be showing you guys these locations in today's video. Hope you guys do end up enjoying the video, and let's begin with the very first spot. Now, my very first spot of an area that I always like to go, that's just kind of an easy area to begin at, kind of when I'm just starting the game. And I don't go to this place too often when I play solo. It's just more when I play squads, and that's Salty Springs. And I picked Salty Springs for the number 5 spot. It's just because Salty Springs is just kind of like an area where you could get some decent loot. There's tons of houses all over the place. It's just very fun, when you actually have a squad and everything just works and you guys can ransack all the houses for good loot. It's just an easy way that you guys can get a decent amount of stuff to start off with. This is more for the loot than the material. I like getting just as much material as I do loot, so that's why there's some other areas you're going to notice that are very heavily on material. But I really like Salty when I travel in a group just because I can get some good loot. It's just that sometimes it's annoying because I die because of all the people that go there still now because no one's no longer going to just the new areas. But I do like Salty for just the chance of getting good loot. Now, the number 4 pick that I have for you guys here is actually going to probably be very uncommon for a lot of people, but it's Moisty Meier. I like this area a lot just for the sole fact that nobody goes here and it's very underestimated. The one little tree that's kind of got the chance of getting a double chest is actually a very good spot, and I take a lot of loot from this area, and you can destroy a lot of the trees and get tons and tons of wooden supplies to make forts later on the map, because the Moisty Meier has just tons and tons of trees everywhere where you can get tons and tons of wooden supplies, and if you can just destroy all those trees, you tend to be in a very good position. Plus, since this area is at the very edge of the map, it means that if you end up landing here, if the storm ends up landing here, you're really good because a lot of people tend to go to the middle, and a lot of the times that this area is just cluttered with trees, so it's very easy for cover and very easy to just kind of just hide and end up getting really good kills being stealthily, because if you can get here before anybody else can, you have the advantage. You can see them coming, but they can't see you, and I like that a lot. Now, it doesn't always end up going here. More oftentimes than not, it goes towards the middle of the map for the storm, so this area tends to be evacuated pretty easily, but the good news is, though, is that when I have to evacuate, I don't get shot in my back because I am on the edge of the map, which is very good. So it's a good area for supplies. It's a good area, for being kind of just not getting killed right away. And it's a good area if it ends up being in your favor and you stay here. Plus, also it's right next to the prison, which is also another benefit. Now, coming down to the number 3 spot, this is an area that's a little bit more to the left side of the map. In fact, it's directly left. It's Snobby Shores. Snobby Shores is the kind of little rich town that has the 4 or 5 houses. And this is the area that also has the bunker part of the map. This is where you can actually end up going behind the one bookshelf, and you can actually have that whole underground bunker that has 3 different chests. And this area is very, very good for loot. Stupidly good for loot, because there tends to be 4 decent chests, and you can actually end up getting some really decent supplies. And in general, there's just a lot of cover. You have very good advantage. If the storm lands on you, like I said, with Moisty Meier, since you're on the edge of the map, you don't have to worry about getting flanked or everything. It's a very, very good area, and I like this area a lot. Now, coming down to the number 2 spot, I'm going to pick Tilted Towers. I know that this is a very popular area for a lot of people, and I like Tilted Towers too, but it just costs way too much to try to get somewhat decent loot. You risk your life more times than not. You can go to Tilted Towers and you can get 6 kills, but you can end up also dying 6 times in a row with no kills before that even happens. And I've seen so many people talk about how that they don't like Tilted Towers because everyone goes there. For example, the Smith Place talks about it, and I agree with them. Everyone goes here, and it's annoying because you can have a very high chance of dying. It's just not that fun when you just either get killed right away or just all the action happens here, and then you run to maybe 1 or 2 other guys from the rest of the map. 90% of the people go to Tilted, and it's annoying. So either go here and have a really high reward payoff, or you don't, and you kind of end up getting screwed. It's just a big risk, high reward, type of scenario. You either get a lot of good loot and get a lot of good kills and you win, or you just die immediately or several times in a row. It's just not fun anymore. Now coming down to my number 1 spot, and this has always been one of my favorite areas ever since it came out. It's one of the default locations before the update added in any new ones, and it is Pleasant Park. Pleasant Park for me is my favorite area. I don't go here all the time, but I do like the area as a whole. Solo, duo, squads, you name it, just because this area has got very good loot. It's always been very good for loot to me. I've always found a lot of decent weapons. I found golden scars just sitting in houses. I have found just good chests that have good potions. I have found a lot of good material. I've gotten a lot of kills in this area. I've had decent starts at Pleasant Park, and I've been able to just continue to do really ridiculously well here, no matter what the the game mode or how many people I'm playing with, just because I always have it work in my favor. It's always just a good area for me. It's kind of like how everyone ends up having those good runs at Tilted. I get them at Pleasant. I just like this area for the fact that I do really well. It's very consistent. It's very fun, and I very much like this area. It's just my favorite area in the map. I do super well here. It's not something that I go to all the time because I want to like spread out my gameplay. I don't like to just spam one location. I like to do a variety of locations, but this area is definitely one of my favorites just for the sole fact that I get tons and tons of good experiences here. I really like the area just for that, let alone. But anyways, guys, this is going to be today's video. I hope you guys did end up enjoying my top 5. If you guys do want to end up seeing some more Fortnite, please let me know by leaving a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new around here, because that is really appreciated, and it'll let you guys know when I'm uploading another video. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out, and please stop going to Tilted Towers.